By 2015, John Cena accomplished everything there is to accomplish as a main event talent in WWE. His legacy was set in stone and was considered to be the face of WWE post Austin and Rock. Usually we didn't see Cena's best until a major feud came out. It didn't show as much as we knew he was capable of. The year of 2007 seemed like his undisputed best, but as time went on there was slight changes to his character and in-ring work. These things made him seem more authentic and natural because he was a super good guy from the years of 2006 to 2013. It was fresh seeing him approach things from a different direction. Cena stopped being considered the underdog, but that in itself would be explored in a much deeper way later on. So to put Cena's character in perspective, he was a super good guy who never cheated to win and often ended his feuds on top. The only people that pressed his buttons and tried to convince the audience to look at him differently were CM Punk, The Rock, and Daniel Bryan. Those three brought out something else in his promos during this time period. 2015 was a huge year for Cena. He changed significantly in ring and became a much stronger workhorse. That in itself was starting to develop in 2011. He started bringing out more around that time period, but 2015 was when he went on a whole other level, adding several different moves to his arsenal and keeping up with the new WWE style. Cena adapted to the times and if anything shined brighter. 2015 was a standout year and added to an already incredible legacy. We see people talk about 2015 all the time, but they tend to forget Cena of 2016 and 2017. He was very similar in ring, but his character was noticeably different. Now, whenever someone presses Cena in his promos, he starts to go all out and become a fireball. This happened from time to time, but was never a consistent thing. Cena went away due to injury around the end of 2015, but upon his return, he noticed something about the new era. Now at the time, WWE was spearheaded into a new era led by the likes of Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. In some ways, WWE didn't need the name of John Cena around anymore, at least not as much as they used to in the past. The reliance on Cena was dwindling rapidly and the focus for the first time in 10 years was on entirely new faces. This unlocked a great iteration of Cena's character and one we always forget to talk about in detail. His in-ring work was great at the time, but that's usually the main focus whenever the topic of Cena's later years comes up. You know, everyone knows that. We know the fact that John Cena had a much better moveset and changed things up. His first promo back, I thought he was gonna turn heel or something. He comes out with a lot of fury and anger over being pushed aside. And the reason why I personally was convinced, well, not convinced, but I kind of believed he would turn heel is because I didn't see this level of confidence and almost arrogance from him. But he was angry. He was angry about people forgetting stuff, as if people forgot the decade of dominance. That's what it was. He's the final boss of WWE, yet everyone's overlooking it in favor of a slogan, the new era. And this promo highlighted his unwillingness to be pushed aside. Everyone knows what he's capable of, yet they're convinced these new guys, some of them that Cena beat in the past, are going to be the ones to bring change to the WWE. What makes this promo different is that Cena had that type of intensity you'd see in his promos with The Rock and CM Punk. Not to mention, he felt a bit arrogant because he was using his previous success as a barometer for the future. And the best part in all of this would start to become a regular occurrence in his promos. That's the best part. He was done acting humble. Nobody deserves that humble underdog, and Cena would constantly remind everyone of his name as a way to simply establish what his opponent was going up against. They're going up against John Cena, the face that runs the place. WWE wouldn't dare portray him like this in the past because there was a layer of truth. It wouldn't serve their underdog narrative at all. But ever since 2011, they were slowly deviating away from it. And the funniest part in all of this is the fact that Cena looked the most as an underdog in his feud with AJ Styles than he ever did since the year of 2006. Cena often brought a lot of aggression on the mic, and you would be hard pressed to find someone in WWE that had that same level of aggression and intensity he did back then. He lets the heels such as AJ Styles talk, and then he goes on this long tirade where he'd show why he's one of the best around. You saw a lot more with his promos than usual here. It felt like every promo from this time was one that fulfilled its potential to 100%, and it was the best that it could be. His attitude was so different, and I often think that if he had the same intensity with his promos and entire character in the past, people would look at him more fondly because back then he told those stupid jokes and occasionally brought that serious vibe about himself. It didn't happen often, not to mention that he was an underdog the entire time. It's refreshing seeing John Cena straight up tell you that he's not an underdog and he's the main guy to go through for the new era to begin. Because with John Cena around, there sure as hell will be no new era. That's what it was. He was a bully and didn't care because he was around to reclaim the title, beat AJ Styles, and show why he's the best. Who cares if Dean Ambrose's feelings are hurt or he's offended? Cena also treated Ambrose like he wasn't even close to his level, someone that he literally doesn't care about. This little story also gave WWE a strong opening to explore a deeper side of Cena's character, because Ambrose straight up eviscerated him and treated John Cena like a character, whereas he is authentic. He'll never be a great politician because he can't be someone that holds down other talent. This should have been the WrestleMania 33 rematch because it would give this version of Cena someone that brings out all his flaws and exposes him more. It'd be an interesting story because it forced them to address some of the John Cena booking problems in the past. Plus, it would have been better than what we got. And Cena of the past would be like fine speech. Here, he got so offended by Ambrose that he assaulted him. Very rarely does that happen. Nothing was gonna stop him from regaining the title. This version of Cena would call his old self a fraud and a master politician. As for his weaknesses in storyline, for one, even though he talked a lot, he wasn't as much of a threat as he was in the past. And this helps with the 16th title storyline a lot because Cena around this time period hadn't held the WWE Championship in 2 years. He almost couldn't win the big one to save his life, and that question also ties into another question of, is Cena done? Are his best days behind him and retirement is near? That's why it was interesting. And when you add all of these things up, you get one of the best versions of John Cena and one we don't really acknowledge enough. We didn't even talk about his in-ring skills at that time. Like, we already know 2015 Cena. 16 and 17, he's mostly the same. However, he did have a tendency of going a little too hard on his opponents. You know, the problem with John Cena is, for as good as he is on the mic, he kind of makes some other people look worse. He told Roman Reigns, this is a promo, you need to learn how to cut one of these in order to be a main eventer. He cooked them there, he killed them. I felt like John Cena was overpowered at the time with his promos. His promos here weren't even limited. He'd go all out in almost all of them, eviscerate, destroy, obliterate his opponent, cook them hard, and not many of them could respond well. John Cena had a lot of great promos here. His new era promo. This promo was him basically telling everyone to not forget about him and that if they want to have a new era, they gotta go through him. This promo here, challenge to SummerSlam with AJ Styles. This once again showed a lot of intensity from Cena, and it was a great way to hype up their match for SummerSlam. Talking smack, he talked trash about Dean Ambrose, criticized him, said that Roman and Seth are bona fide main eventers, whereas he only won his title off of Money in the Bank cash-in and hasn't really established himself as well as the other two. His two promos against AJ Styles in the lead up to Royal Rumble. The last one though was the best one and one of the best in John Cena's career. Reminded AJ Styles that he was around here for 6 months, whereas he, Cena, established himself and dominated for over 10 years. I see a lot of people like it, but they don't really like it as much because it feels like they don't acknowledge Styles' accolades before WWE. But that comes with Cena's new character, you know? Like, this was a different version of John Cena. He was a bit more arrogant, and he was a bit more out there and a bit more aggressive and rude and all of that kind of stuff. You know, he wasn't that respectful guy he was as he used to be. The Miz, once again, he trashed Miz here, called him a jealous person in the lead up to WrestleMania. And I want to mention this as well, even though Cena like destroyed all of these guys and whatnot, a lot of them did respond, so it brought out a lot of good TV and a lot of entertaining moments. So there's that. And of course, the Roman Reigns promo, the one where Cena basically told him that he's a failed main eventer and that WWE should look elsewhere for a new talent. That's one of the crazier promos of 2017 and one that has to be mentioned every time we talk about the year. So there's that. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video about this version of John Cena. You know, his character is very interesting here because he had a lot of things. He was way more arrogant and confident, but he was much weaker than previously. And when you add all these elements together, you get a great character. You know, I like that. I like that a lot. And I kind of wish we got more of the Cena in 2017 and 18, but it is what it is. So yeah. Alright, what do you guys think of this version of John Cena? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the STF on the like button and perhaps the AA on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.